Alright guys, welcome back to Gameducation. For this video, I'm going to look at building a bigger base, and there will be some minor spoilers as some of the things I'm building here do require you to have played the game and unlocked them already. So I have a shopping list for you for all the things I'm going to build, and you're going to need 35 titanium, 6 lead, 3 copper, 3 glass, 2 quartz, 2 titanium ingots, 2 lubricant, 1 gold, 1 table coral sample, 1 wiring kit, and 1 silicon rubber. Yes, it's a lot of materials, and I couldn't even fit them all in my inventory, so I had to bring my sea moth and store 16 titanium in the storage upgrade. But if you do have the sea moth, you can do the same. If you don't, you will need to make 2 trips. So I guess the first thing you should do is probably choose a location that you think has a nice view. So I chose this place. There is the occasional groaning from those things over there, and the occasional being chased by things that want to eat you by those things down there. But otherwise, I like the aesthetic. So the first thing that I'm going to build, or to get started, is 2 foundation pieces. And each one of these will increase the base hull strength by 2. So starting with 10 and building 2 of these, I'll have 14. And even that won't be enough base hull strength for all the things I want to build. Fortunately, there are multiple ways to increase it, so I don't need to just build foundations. After that, I'm going to build a multi-purpose room. And if you haven't unlocked the multi-purpose room yet, that's okay. You get it in a special location fairly early on in the game. I'm not going to ruin it for you and tell you where it is. But it is fairly early on, so you shouldn't worry about finding it as long as you just play the game. The other 2 rooms that I will be building, however, you do not find in a special location. You can just find them in fragments on the seafloor. And those 2 rooms are a scanner room and a moon pool. So the moon pool is a vehicle docking bay, and the scanner room is it's a scanner room. It scans things. So I'm going to put both of those rooms either side of this central multi-purpose room here. So the scanner room here. And if you haven't unlocked this yet, it's not a problem. I will show you what it does. First of all though, getting the titanium from my storage compartment. Oh, of course, all but one. There we go. And then of course also replenishing my oxygen so that I don't drown. Okay, so I can finish building this scanner room. And go to the other side to build the moon pool. It's okay if you place something incorrectly, just deconstruct it with Q and try again. And now the moon pool. Now the second multipurpose room at the back there is what I'm going to use as a reactor room for power. But even with that, first I will always build a solar panel just to have some oxygen and have enough power for some basic functions. Overall, a single solar panel will not be enough for the power needs of a bigger base like this. So if you have a moon pool, you don't actually even need a hatch to get in and out, and that's because you can enter from underneath, either without or with a vehicle. And there we go, free parking. So the moon pool will hold your small vehicle for you and keep it safe. It can't be damaged by anything out in the ocean while it's in here. And it will even charge the battery for you using the base's power supply. That's another reason why it's important to have more than just solar power, because at night solar power doesn't do anything. So going into the back room here, which I designated as a reactor room, we are going to build a bioreactor. Now the bioreactor is the first kind of reactor that you probably will find. And as you can tell by the name, it functions using biological things. So that means you can power it using things like fish or plants, mushrooms, plant seeds, even creature eggs. So there's some mushrooms here that I can pick up, and some veined nettles here, which I can cut with my knife to get some seeds. And you can even use fish. So if I grab one of these fish, what's this? A Gary fish, alright. And now go back inside. I can put these inside the reactor, and it will start generating power from them. So it's inactive. If I click here and I just put all these things inside, you see they become gray. I can't take them out now because they are being turned into delicious green power goop. Awesome. You can also see at the top of the screen that the power is now going up, and we can have much more power than we could have with just a solar panel, 575. So once you have the reactor and you're generating power, you can now use your multiple purpose room for its multiple purposes. So you can of course build lockers and fabricators, whatever you like in this room. I would of course suggest windows as an absolute necessity, so that you can look at things while you're lollygagging. So if I build windows on each of these panels here, we can actually see I don't have enough base hull strength to build another one. I could build it, but the base would start to collapse, and I really don't want that. I built a base so it wouldn't collapse. So like I mentioned earlier, we can also build a bulkhead to increase the base hull strength. And these have to be built inside the tube compartments, but they will increase the base hull strength by 3. And you can just leave that open. So now that I've built that, I can add my final window. And my view is complete. Okay, awesome. So now onto the final room, and I think this is possibly my favorite room, is the scanner room. So straight away you can see that there's a kind of 3D holographic map in the center here. And you can use this just by itself for kind of examining the terrain to try and find any tunnels or cave systems, something like that. And in the immediate area, I can already see that there are at least 2. One over here, going deep directly ahead into the rock, and one over here, which seems to be going almost directly down. So by looking at my own location here in green, and using my compass, I can figure out probably how to get to those no problem. So that's a pretty helpful function of the map. But it does more than that. I mean, as the name implies, scanner room, you can scan for things. And you do that using this menu. So all of the things on this menu will change depending on where the scanner room is. So if I want to find, say, some salt, I can click here. And the base will start scanning, or this room will start scanning for salt. Each time it finds something, it will come up as a red blip. You see, it doesn't find them all instantaneously. You have to give it a few minutes to scan and generate all the results that it can find. Now, if you don't have the upgrade for the scanner room HUD chip, and I recommend that you do get it, once the scanner room finds these things, it will only display them on this 3D map here. If you have the HUD chip, which I do have, it will display them on your HUD like this. So I can see exactly where these things are. And if I jump out into the water, I can swim straight to them and pick them up, no problem. But without the HUD chip, they disappear and I cannot see them. But there is one way around this, and that is using the camera drones that you have. Each scanner room has 2 camera drones, and if you go to connect to them, you'll now be able to swim around using these camera drones. And the camera drones do have a scanner room HUD upgrade. So you can use these to find exactly where these deposits are if you're not very good at reading the map. Or maybe some things are just hidden in grass and you would lose track of them. So I can find this salt deposit here, which is sorry, I crashed there, which is kind of hidden by grass. And a little trick I can use now is I can just leave my camera drone here by pressing escape. and I can see exactly where my camera is. I can even go out of the base, swim over to the camera, and because I left the camera next to the thing I want to collect, it'll be really easy to find it. Of course, that is a bit of a convoluted way of doing it just because you don't have the HUD chip, but it is something you can do if you don't have it. Once you're finished using your camera drone though, you'll probably want to store it safely, and you can do that by moving it back into its docking pod, which looks like this. And there we go. So pressing escape to exit it, you're back in the scanner room. So I'm going to cancel this scan now, I don't really need any salt. Try to keep your camera drones inside the scanner room unless you want to lose them to some beasties that want some toys. And pay attention, close attention to the map, and you might be able to find some interesting things. So that's it for a simple base. A reactor room, multi-purpose room, scanner room, and a moon pool for storing your vehicle. You know all the materials that you need to build it now. Make sure you choose a suitable location for your view. You might want to choose somewhere with less things that want to eat you. Up to you. Maybe you want to choose a location with more things that want to eat you. Whatever suits your fancy. So I hope this gives you some help and some ideas for building your own base. Thanks for watching guys, and come back next time.